Hello, welcome to Wake Up and Live with the Arts. I'm one of your co-hosts, Sue Johnson, along with my pal Gary Webster, and we're here spending a few minutes chatting with a gentleman who is kind of a co-host, and he kind of is an Actors Team member, and above all, Peter Lawson Jones is the man about town, Renaissance man, yes, like in the county and the state. And anyway, among his 15,000 things a day that Peter does, he is honchoing what is known as the Karamu Alumni Association. We want to welcome you, say hi. Thanks for taking a few minutes to share with us what is the Karamu Alumni Association and what's it all about.
Sue and Gary, let me first thank you for inviting me to be a guest on the show, and it's always wonderful and a privilege and an honor to spend time with the two of you.
Don't fall down now.
Wonderful. This man's been hanging out with James McGilvray too much.
And where's James today?
I don't know. He knows to be. He knows.
He's in a wonderful place.
Yeah, we haven't talked in a couple of days, but he's busy renovating and rehabbing his Taj McCleveland, his special project.
Okay, well.
He bought one of those homes a couple of years ago that from the studs
Then
up.
he's productively engaged, and
Yes,
that's what
he
we
is.
want to make sure.
Yes.
You ask about the Karamu Alumni Association. What it is a group of men and women who have been affiliated with Karamu in any of a number of different ways in the past and in the present, whether it's as actors or behind the scenes in the tech crews and the stage crews, directors, playwrights. If they've been a board member at Karamu or on the staff, or perhaps they've taught a class at Karamu or been involved in one of the guilds, for example, the Photographic Guild, the Photographers Guild.
The Gilpin Players, I think, was a guild, wasn't it?
Yes, and that was mostly of actors, in years gone by. But what I endeavored to do was to revitalize and resuscitate the Karamu Alumni Association. There had been previous iterations, and in fact, Karamu Alumni Associations in the past, there was a New York branch and a Los Angeles branch and chapter. And so with all the extraordinarily talented people who've been involved in Karamu over its 100-year history, who have helped build its national, international reputation, there just needed to be a group that could come together, network amongst each other, and be supportive of each other, but also undertake projects that could help Karamu advance its mission as it moves into its second century of existence.
Yes, indeed. And speaking of Karamu alums, I'm going to take privilege here. Something that we thought about, we had a meeting last evening of the Alumni Association, is I'm going to, on behalf of Wake Up and Live with the Arts, Karamu Alumni Association, and Peter, I'm going to put out a call. We are trying to reach and locate and reach, I guess would be the correct order. We are trying to locate and reach as many Karamu alums as possible. We would like you to get in touch with us, probably via email, and we'll give you a good address. What we want to do is find out who here in the United States and Canada and Europe, wherever, we're reaching out for you to contact us, to let us know where you are, what you are doing. And we also want to take a look at the possibility of wherever you are, setting up a video greeting to salute Karamu for its 100th year anniversary. So let me ask you, Peter, would it be the best thing to have the folks from the Karamu alumni folks we're reaching out to contact the Karamu office with its phone number, contact the KAA email address?
I think there are a couple of different options. We are trying to build our base of Karamu alums. Presently, I have probably 150 or 160 people on our email distribution list. But I've got to imagine that there are literally thousands of Karamu alums who fit one of the criteria for being a member of the alumni organization. So I would ask that they reach out to me with names and contact information for Karamu alums at peterlawsonjones@gmail.com. peterlawsonjones@gmail.com. I would also suggest that if there is an interest in sending a happy birthday message to Karamu, that they call Karamu at 216-795-7070, 216-795-7070, and contact the administrative office and let them know that they're interested in sending such a message. And then somebody will get back to them and tell them the format it needs to be received and also the deadline for the message.
And that's critical because the celebration, the gala part is June 13th, but the anniversary celebration will be going on for at least the rest of this year and next year. So even though there might be a deadline for you to send us a greeting, do a video message, whatever, we want you to get busy doing that now. And so certainly Karamu alums would also find out more about Karamu Alumni Association and might want to become affiliated. And when you do, contact Peter, and I'm also going to give him wakeup4664@aol.com, is for contact information. We would love it if you had not only your email address, but a street mailing address with zip code, and if possible, a phone number. In this way, it'll be easy for us to reach back out to you and get back in touch and maybe keep building our connections and our outreach so that everybody will know what's going on with the Karamu Alumni Association.
And it should point out that there are two different types of members of the Karamu Alumni Association. There are those who qualify for membership because, again, they meet one of the membership criteria. They were active or are currently active with Karamu in one capacity or another. But there's also special benefits that will accrue and inure to those who are paid members of the Karamu Alumni Association. They'll receive discounts to Karamu events and to, when it comes to purchasing Karamu paraphernalia and memorabilia, and there'll be other benefits that will accrue to them. So we certainly want everyone who has ever been affiliated with Karamu to be on that email distribution list, but we would encourage you further to also become a paid member of Karamu, because of the Karamu Alumni Association, because that will enable us to have the funds necessary to do some of the things we endeavor and will be assaying to do for Karamu. And one of which we would like to be in the position at some point to provide scholarships to students from this area who wish to pursue higher education in one of the performing arts or the visual arts or in one of the artistic endeavors. We'd also like to be able to subsidize those young boys and young girls in the Fairfax community who would like to attend classes at Karamu but couldn't afford it. So we are not just collecting dues to throw big parties. We're collecting dues with a purpose. And that purpose is to serve the community and to help support youth who have aspirations, personal aspirations to go on and enjoy some success and build a career in the arts.
Of course, and we just got through talking to another guest named Darnell Weaver, because as Gary said, I've been on a platform since Hector was a pup about Cleveland becoming an arts market destination where you can continue to live here and earn a living here without having to travel to or relocate to other cities in order to enjoy success in the arts. So
and I like your classical references to Hector from the Iliad and the Odyssey. And
but of course, I am from old school, classically trained. And that's the other thing. Speaking of the classes and getting folks involved in the arts, Terrence Spivey and he is the artistic director of Karamu, and he and I have launched what is called the Master Classes in the Arts series. Karamu was known in the past for its beyond fabulous training of performing artists, singers, dancers, actors, what have you, who went on to other locations to become famous and important and productive. So we are trying to rebuild that through the master classes in the arts so that here again, Karamu can become renowned as a place for proper training in the arts.
And that's one of the things that Karamu Alumni Association endeavors as set forth in its mission, and that is to help sustain, bolster, and enhance Karamu's reputation on both the national and the international level for the quality of artistry that's on display there, as well as its child daycare programs, its other cultural outreach programs, so that we're trying to be supportive of Karamu and to make sure that its reputation continues on the same level that it has been historically.
And historically, Karamu was founded by Russell and Rowena Jelliff, and they had a mission to create a place where a joyful gathering where people could come from the community and
regardless of race and ethnicity and religion.
It was cultural diversity. That's how Karamu was established. And in fact, you can find out more about Russell and Rowena Jelliff and some other folks. There is an insert coming out in Cleveland Magazine about our 100 years, and it will feature Russell and Rowena Jelliff as the founders. It'll feature Reuben and Dorothy Silver. I don't think there's anybody living or not living who doesn't know Reuben and Dorothy. And James Pickens, most of you will know him from Grey's Anatomy. He's going to be involved in the celebration. And then, believe it or not, George L. Forbes, he has been active and he's going to be acknowledged at this celebration for his contributions to helping keep Karamu alive 100 years and moving it into its next, as your word is, iteration.
Yes, its next iteration and its next century. You know, and the truth is that there's no excuse not to be busy the weekend of June 12th through the 15th, because there are going to be several extraordinary events at Karamu alone that weekend. On certainly the Wiz is being performed at Karamu. It opens with the preview on May the 27th, I believe.
And the actual opening day is Friday, May 29th. So that Wiz, the Wiz, is a grand part of this gala celebration weekend that is soon to arrive in about 3.5 weeks. Okay?
So from June 11th, June 12th, and June 13th, you'll be able to go to Karamu to see the Wiz. On June the 12th, there is a reception for Karamu alumni members and sponsors of the gala celebration on the 13th, followed by a performance of the Wiz. On June the 13th at 7 p.m. at the Cleveland Museum of Art, the Centennial Celebration Banquet and Gala will be held. And as Sue mentioned, the honorees that evening are Russell and Rowena Jelliff. Their award will be accepted by their son, Dr. Roger Jelliff. The award will be given to Reuben and Dorothy Silver, and that award will be accepted on behalf of both of them by Dorothy, because unfortunately Reuben passed last year. George Forbes will be honored. Former Council President Forbes was instrumental in Karamu securing a $1 million grant out of the state capital budget, which will allow some impressive and needed and critical renovations and improvements, capital improvements at Karamu. And James Pickens will receive an award that he is richly deserved as one of the probably best known actors of this era, this generation, to have been trained at Karamu.
Now, Sue, if I could just take a moment here. And,
by all means.
Peter, you have just touched on something that I think would be significant. The fact is now that our main venue is YouTube, which means that we are now seen all over the country, literally all over the world. And while Karamu has a nationwide reputation, there are probably people watching us in certain places who are not familiar with drop some names. Who are some of the better known products of Karamu who have gone on to fame and fortune in various areas of the arts, in movies and television and such?
Maybe we can rotate back and forth. Langston Hughes.
Currently, speaking of current generations, Bill Cobbs, along with Jim Pickens.
Robert Guillaume,
Vanessa Bell Calloway. There he is, our Lee Lazar.
Deborah Bird.
Deborah Bird, yes. and we're hoping to bring her in for one of our classes, our master classes in the arts. I go back
Imani Hakim,
yes, she is,
who was on Everybody Hates Chris and played Gabby Douglas in the Gabby Douglas story.
Yeah, Gabby was the
Olympian, the gymnast,
yeah,
the African American Olympian.
Karamu's
Olympic
history
gymnast.
includes Minnie Gentry, Al Fan, Clayton Corbin, Nate Barnett,
Ron Superfly O'Neill.
Yeah, and though we hate to do that because those are just a few
tip of the iceberg.
Yeah, many. And see, here's the thing: we want to get back Karamu. We're involved in wanting folks to be able to get back to the place where they got trained at Karamu, they performed at Karamu, they build sets at Karamu, and if they have to go on, they will have the skill, the craft, the technique to be successful anywhere in the world. You see, and Karamu was known for that.
I used to hear that many of the New York actors hated when a Karamu actor was also often auditioning because they knew that that Karamu actor was so well trained that it was likely that he or she would get the role.
Yes, I've heard that many times. Okay, and now we're getting ready to wind down because time is drawing to a close, but I'm going to do this one more time as a separate piece in case we can, edit it out. But this is a call for all Karamu alums, meaning you have been affiliated with Karamu in the past or present in some capacity, acting, dancing, singing, building set, typewriting in the office, whatever your
staff, board members.
Yeah, board members. So if you have had any connection, affiliation with Karamu over the past 100 years, please contact Peter Lawson Jones at PL.Jones at AOL.
Peter Lawson Jones at gmail.com.
Gmail.com.
Peter Lawson Jones
and we'll have it on the
gmail.com.
screen. The reason being, our Karamu Alumni Association wants to have you know about what's going on. We're working on communications because part of the thing that we have to deal with is people knowing what's going on at Karamu. And later on at another session, we'll talk about the renovation of Karamu. And especially now, we want you to get in contact with us, and I will include wakeup4664@AOL.com. So we have your name, address, phone number, email address, and maybe a website or two, so that we can reach out and so that you can find out more about how we are rebuilding Karamu to being the premier theater that it has been known for. And so that you can find out more about the celebration in case you're nearby, or if you're not nearby and you want to catch a plane to come celebrate the weekend of June 11, 12, 13 at Karamu. So we want to thank you very much for your time. Of course, Peter, darling, you know how we feel about you. Okay, and Gare, glad to have you back with your authoring self because you are doing Cleveland Indians as your venue right now in terms of your authorship being.
Well, I have expanded now. My next book is about the Browns.
Hot diggity dog. So be on the lookout.
Hopefully the Cavs will give you something to write about very, very soon.
Well, that will probably be handled by someone who is like covering the team. I would imagine there are several writers with books in the works right now so that after we win the championship, they can go to the publisher the very next day.
But then you can tell the real story.
Sure, I'll go in depth.
In depth.
Yes, I will.
Investigative reporter.
Yes, thanks for hanging out with us. This is Sue Johnson from Wake Up and Live with the Arts, and we certainly hope and want you to wake up and live with the arts
every day.
Each and every day.
Each and every day, yes.